got me feeling some way. Baby, it ain't that right. You ain't got control of me, so you should just go find someone that'll take good care of the needs that I don't quite meet. I'm not being rude, but you just need to make your mind up.
Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am Beautifully Broken. I'm your host Lamekkiona. As you can tell, I do not have a guest this week, but I wanted to get back to the episodes because I really miss you guys, and not even just that. I just felt like, I don't know, like let's throw a disclaimer. I was getting a little discouraged about like I want to have a guest like every single week, but I know busy schedules. I have a busy schedule. The people that I reach out to have a busy schedule, but I don't want that to be my excuse as to why, like I'm not showcasing I Am Beautifully Broken, because this talk show is everything, and I really appreciate like just the love and support that I have gotten so far, and that's far that will go on as I continue the show. But I just feel like I can't use the excuse of, I'm not in my own studio yet, or, I don't like the background or whatever, even though I really love this background, like it is everything. But it's just like I kind of kept throwing excuses as to why I wasn't doing the show. And I've been consistent in everything else. So I'm like, this is the one that I'm really slacking on, and I don't like that. So that's why I took the initiative to make sure that I'm getting back to every Tuesday at 6 p.m. So we are back every week, 6 p.m. Even if we don't have a guest, girl, we're going to talk. We're going to have some girl talks. We're going to talk about different subjects as always. Before we get into the topic for today, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because the more you reach out to others, the more people that will see this. So let's get into the topics. So the first topic I wanted to talk about is trusting the process. I feel like we have a hard time with trusting the process because we are so ready to do now. And the part about trusting the process is it's the consistency of seeing everything come to life. And that's more than anything that we could ask for, because to be honest, so say if you got that, what you have been asking for within that same day, would you appreciate it as much if you did the process, trust the process, went through the entire experience versus getting it now? Now, when I say now, it's like we want to be successful now. We want to be wealthy now. We want our business to overflow with orders now. Like, we have to realize that we have to trust that process. That process of you not getting orders for 2 whole months, then that third month you at your peak. You may been broke or living check to check for 3 months or a year or more, and then once you have worked up to that and you became wealthy, you understood the process. You understood that it wasn't just within me getting that, it was the process to get there, because everyone goes through a lot of things in life. We go through trials, tribulations, and more, but we have to think about the process in that. Everything you're going through right now is preparing you for what you have on that other side of that. Everything that you are working towards is coming to life as it may seem slow, and it may seem like it's never going to come, but that process of building and how like powerful it is to watch yourself grow and glow and exceed all expectations. It's one thing to get it that same day, but it's another thing to trust that process within that time frame, because the more that you trust the process and you keep going every single day, whether that's working out, whether that's your business, whether that's whatever you're wanting to do in your life, trust the process. And I'm not just speaking for me. I'm not just speaking for you guys, but I'm speaking for me in general also, because I've realized that when I trust the process, I really enjoyed the process. Like I'm processing everything that I'm learning at the same time. So it's a different thing when you're trusting the process because you're learning, you're growing, you're excelling in your mind. Like you are really going to new heights that you didn't even know you were capable of, or that you didn't know you had in you to keep going. And the process of even just getting up in the morning and going out for a run or going out for a walk, that is the process. That's the process of you exercising. That's the process of you eating better. Like everything takes time. Nothing is like set in stone now. We realistically, if we're looking at it from a realistic perspective, it's better to trust the process versus it getting that now. Because once you get to that, if you get to that now as quickly as you're asking for it, will you be ready is the question. Will you be ready for what you're asking for versus trusting the process, seeing the process goes, and then you become ready? You're asking for something and you wanting to receive something, but have you really put in the work to get that? Like, just being honest. If you think about it, when you ask for something and you ask God for something, or whoever you pray to, and you're asking them for something, or the universe, or like I said, whoever you pray to, we have to remember that in that time frame when we're asking for that, are we in the space to be prepared for that? Versus us going through the process and us getting ready and getting prepared for the wealthy side of things, not living to check, being able to go stay home as long as you want, go on vacations for 3 or 4 weeks and more. Don't get me wrong, I love all of that. I love all that for you, for me, everyone around this world. But at the same time, we have to put it in the perspective of trusting the process, trusting the timing and everything within that timing, what we are learning, what we are gaining. We're gaining a lot because we're learning from our experiences. You're taking away from your experiences if you want it now. Don't get me wrong. I had that mindset for a long time that I wanted now. But as I'm learning that the process is way beyond it. Like the process is more than the result, if that makes any sense. The process is really more than the result. Don't get me wrong, the result is always the key. But also in the process, it's a lot that you take on, that you're learning. And I feel like we are made to have experience, learn from different things, and we're not learning if we're getting everything now, because then we will make mistakes within that now. If we're asking for it to be financially stable, but we spend everything that we got, then we're broke again, right? If we go out and get the body that we want, are we even going to eat better? Like, are we going to eat better? Because it's 80% like eating habits and 20% workouts. So if you are asking for that quick body, don't get me wrong, if that's what you do and you get that quick body and you like it and you love it, but it's still a maintain. You have to maintain everything you do. So when you're asking for something, make sure that you can maintain what you're asking for. That is my biggest message. Maintain what you're asking for. Make sure you can maintain that. Because if you can't maintain that, then you'll be back at square one. Then you got to start the process all over again. So make sure you're in preparation for everything that you're asking for. Because when it comes, you are already prepared for it. It was already in your alignment. And our alignment be so off sometimes because we want this now. But our alignment is also, it's like, how is it going to balance if our alignment is here while what we want is there? So we got to align with the same things that we want. And that starts with the process. Like, I, I just really had to talk about that subject first because I feel like it's been keying in on my heart, especially like listening to different podcasts. It really has changed my perspective when it comes to certain things. It has opened me up as to having the mentality to see it from a realistic perspective, but also being able to set goals and grind for those things at the same time. But I'm trusting the process and I'm trusting everything in its own timing. Everything have its own timing. Everything has its own deadline. You just got to be ready for it. Just got to be ready for it. Moving on to the next subject that I kind of just briefly talked about, but what are you listening to? What are you listening to when you're in your car? What are you listening to when you're at home? What are you listening to when you are working? What are you listening to when you are just around other people? What are you listening to? And why I wanted to talk about this subject was because we listen to music. Don't get me wrong. I love Megan Thee Stallion and all the legends when it comes, Nicki Minaj, all that. Don't get me wrong. They are fire. They are fire. But are you listening to them so much that you haven't even thought on your own, you have your own thoughts about things? Because if you're listening to them all the time, or you listening to, about drugs, gangs, all that all the time, and you are always thinking negative, but then you wonder why, it's really what you're listening to. And not saying that never listen to it, because all of us listen to it. I mean, hey, when I'm working out, that is my jam. I'm going straight to that. That is what, that would keep me pumping and keep me going and get me like excited to work out and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. Music on that flip side of, working out or whatever that gets you motivated, that's different. But I'm saying the things that you're listening to where you like really, if you listen to some of they, like, not talking about Megan Thee Stallion or anybody, but I'm just saying in general, when you listen to some of the music, they like really look at the lyrics, see the lyrics, hear the lyrics, you be like, I've been singing that. I've been saying that. And it be like, that's not really, you're singing things and saying things that you don't even believe in, saying things that you don't even like about if a man is doing that or if a female is doing that. Like, you like, hold on, this don't make no sense. If you really listen to, like, break down the lyrics, you like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. But when I think the main thing that I'm trying to say is, like, for example, in the mornings, what are you listening to? That's really the gag. What are you listening to in the morning? Because in the morning, you're setting your standard for your entire day. If you bumping stuff that's saying all kind of crazy stuff, you're going to have a crazy day. You're going to have a crazy mindset. You're going to have all these things happening. You're like, why? What happened? Where did I go wrong? But it's more so that when we're listening to things, we need to be listening to things that really feed our positive energy, really feed into our mind, that sets the standard for the day, that sets a positive standard for the day. So when you're listening in the morning, what are you listening to? What is that one thing that's setting up your day for the entire day? Are you listening to gospel? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you listening to your favorite motivational speaker? Are you listening to, like something on YouTube for daily affirmations? What are you listening to? And people don't think that that's relevant, but it's more relevant than you think, because I'm telling y'all, when I change in the mornings what I listen to and what I won't listen to in the morning, my mindset changed so much. It blows my mind how much, like, my mind change just from changing the music that I listen to in the morning, specifically in the morning. And even when I get discouraged or upset about something, I'm turning back on what I had on in that morning. Either something new that I know I was going to listen to, but I haven't listened to it yet, or I'm going back to that playlist. And then it feeds back my energy. It builds it back up. You want to listen to music or things around you that feed good energy to you, that feed positive things around you. Setting the day for a positive day. No matter what throw at you, no matter what this or that happen, it's like I already been feeding my mind good energy. I'm not letting this or that affect me. And don't get me wrong, we all have those emotional sides where it does affect us for a little bit. But if you listen back to that playlist that really had you motivated, listen back to that playlist and see how different you feel or how your emotions change just because you're listening to something that's serving you well, that's serving you a purpose, that's showing you a purpose in life, that's feeding your soul purpose and knowledge, good knowledge at that. Feeding into your soul that makes you feel like, I'm talking about ready to do everything that you set out to do, literally. So make sure you're taking this time out this week to see what your playlists are. Do you have any good playlists that feed you good energy? Do you have any playlists that really, like when you're in the morning, your routine, are you listening when you're brushing your teeth? Are you listening when you get in a car? What are you listening to? Is it feeding you positive energy or negative? And then some of the songs that are feeding you negative, break down the lyrics. Bet you won't listen, not as much. I'm just saying, bet after you break down that lyrics, you like, oh my God, what was I saying this whole time? But for real, break down the lyrics. Make sure you're really understanding what you're listening to and make sure you're feeding yourself great energy in the mornings, even throughout the day. But I'm just saying, most importantly, in your morning, because it's setting the standard for the entire day. Those are the main two topics that I wanted to talk about today. Those were kind of like, whew, like I needed to talk about them like ASAP. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of I Am Beautifully Broken. I do have a podcast called Love is Beauty Program Podcast, which is featured on Apple, Spotify, and Anchor. You can reach them at any of those three platforms. Also, I do have a sale going on of 70% off on my entire website. New stuff is coming soon, but for now, right now, it's my entire website is 70% off. Use code LIB, all in caps, to get 70% off your entire purchase. So make sure you go shop. And that is all for today. I'm just so excited to get back to filming and get back to I Am Beautifully Broken because I love this talk show. But if you are interested in being on I Am Beautifully Broken talk show, make sure you email LAMEKKIONAKING@gmail.com and title it Want to Be on Talk Show. All right. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye, you guys.